Hey, hi everyone. This is Vidya from Bhagya Technology. Can you all hear me properly? Hey, Anuja, Kavita, Samatha, Saujanya, Kathy. Are you all able to hear me? Okay. Okay, so you are all able to hear me. I got your answers. Okay, so now we can start with the class. Today we'll discuss in detail about the software development life cycle. Okay. Do you all remember that in the demo session itself, I have told you about the development life cycle of a software? Do you all remember or any of the phases of software development life cycle? Or firstly, before asking you the phases, what is a software development life cycle is? Yes, anyone? The phases of software development life cycle? Yes, Samantha? Hello? Hello, Samantha, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you want to share that what all are the phases of software development life cycle?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The first phase is requirement phase.
Mm-hmm.
The next comes the designing.
Okay.
After designing, the next stage is the coding stage.
Hmm.
And after coding is done, the next stage is the testing. Then comes the release and maintenance.
Okay, good. Kavita, I unmuted you, so you can now able to share your answers with us.
Okay, yeah, because I was talking,
Yeah. I have the authority to mute you all, okay? And I usually do so because just to avoid any disturbances, the background disturbances. Okay, so anyhow, if you want
okay,
to answer anything, just raise a hand. You must be having that option. See, raise a hand,
okay,
I
yeah,
will unmute you, okay?
yeah, sure.
Okay, now you can share your things. Yes, Kavita? You want to share about the...
No, I was telling about the software development life cycle,
Okay.
like requirements gathering and analyzing the requirements,
Mm-hmm.
test test plans and then test case and then um,
See,
um,
test plan and test cases, they are the part of testing, right? So that would,
yeah,
yeah, that would be under the software testing life cycle.
okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll discuss in detail about the software development life cycle. Okay, but before that, Kathy, are you able to hear me? You can unmute yourself from your side. I have unmuted you if you want to share some things. Hey Kathy. We are not able to hear you, Kathy. So can you just type your question in the chat box? By the time, Sojana, do you have any query?
Yeah, the same thing, like software development life cycle is the phases are like a requirement, and then design, and then coding, and then testing, then releasing, then maintenance, and
Yeah. And the last phase is the maintenance phase. Correct.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So as many of you told me that the first phase would be the requirement phase. Okay. Wherein you are going to gather the requirements. Then the second phase would be the planning phase, or you can also say it as the designing phase. Okay. You can say it as the designing phase also. Then after this comes the development or the coding. So in technical terms, I would say it as the coding only. Then the fourth would be your testing. Then after that comes the release of the software. And then would be the maintenance phase. Okay. But if we try to talk about more in detail about these, what would happen in each of these phases and who all are the people who would be involved in them, okay, and what all are the documents that are to be prepared in each of these phases. So we need to discuss in detail about all these things. But before talking in detail about these things, what we'll do is, see, as we have like 6 people over here, okay, in our class. So Anuja and Kathy, you be the business analyst people, okay, and I'm just giving you the roles for now. And then after some time, I'll tell you that why these roles are given to you, okay. So Anuja and Kathy, you be the business analyst people. Then after that, Kavita, Samantha and Saujanya, okay, Kavita and Samantha only. Kavita and Samantha, you be in the senior designer, okay, senior designer people. Then Saujanya, you be in the coding, Saujanya and Vinesh. Okay, you be in the coding phase. Okay, and I would be in the testing phase. Okay, as Vidya, I would be in the testing phase. Now, why we are doing so is just to let you understand that how the things work in the IT environment or in the companies. So these all are the phases. Then we'll discuss that what is to be done in each of these phases. Okay. Who all are the people who would be involved in the phases, and what all are the documents that needs to be prepared. Okay. So what all documents we are going to prepare in these phases. So first phase is the requirement phase. So what will happen in the requirement phase is, see, whenever a client comes to you for asking for a software to be built for his company, then he will give you a set of requirements. Now, since he would be a simple user who does not have a technical knowledge about the things, so he would give you just very simple examples, very simple requirements. Okay, his requirement won't be in the technical specification. It won't contain any of the technical specifications. As a simple user, as a simple end user, he would give you his requirements in simple terminologies, in simple terms. So what he would say, just taking the example, will try to understand all the phases, but I'll just give you a very simple example of Gmail login, okay, wherein the user comes up to us and he is asking us that he wants the Gmail login page to be built for him. Okay, and in that he wants that there should be a username text box, then there should be a password text box. Okay, and in the username text box, the person who is having a user ID of say 4 to 8 characters should be able to type his username. Okay, and the password should also be between 4 to 8 characters. Okay, and when these two things match up, then he should be able to log in. Otherwise, he should be popped up with an error message that the username and password either they don't match or the password is too short or anything. Okay, so he should not be able to log in if these two things they do not match up. Now, when he is giving us the simple requirements, do you think that the people in the IT project team, they would be able to code it in the way he has given us? Because as a simple person, he would give us the requirements like I want a username text box and then I want a password text box, and then when the username and the password they both match each other, then my user should be able to log in. If they doesn't match up, then they should not be able to log in. Okay, he would give us just in simple terms, but it is the responsibility of the business analyst, because he would be reciting and he would be giving all the requirements to the business analyst people. Okay, and over here in our team we have the business analyst people as the Anuja and Kathy. Okay, so Anuja and Kathy, he would come up to you people and he would give you his requirements. Now you have to create the requirements in the technical format. Okay, so the business analyst people will have to create the requirement in this format, because when the requirements they go to the coders or to the developers, they don't understand the requirement of a simple common language. They have to get the things in technical terms, only then they would be able to code. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the business analyst to convert the simple requirements of the clients into the technical specifications, to take up all the requirements from the clients and then convert it into the technical specifications. Okay, so over here it would be done by Anuja and Kathy. They would take up all the requirements from the clients and then they would convert those requirements into the technical specification, and that document in which they would be converting the requirements from the client or you can say from a simple requirement to the technical specification, that document which they would be creating would be known as your BRD, that is the business requirement document. Okay, so specifically I would write over here that in this phase what we are going to do, we are going to collect the business requirements. Okay, who is going to collect that? The business analyst people. Okay, so in short they are also known as the BA people, and the documents that they would be creating would be the business requirement document. Business requirement document. Okay, is it clear up till here? Anyone has any doubt? Okay. Now, once the simple requirements they are being converted into the business requirement, or you can say the technical specifications when they are being converted, then what will happen? Then the planning and the designing phase, they come into use. They come into the scene. And over here, the senior level, or you can say the top management or the senior designer, or in technical terms, the architects. Okay, the architects of the company or of the project, they come into the scene, and then the things will move on from Anuja and Kathy to Kavita and Samatha. Okay, so they over there, Kavita and Samatha, what they will do, see, this is the form of the requirement that is given to Kavita and Samatha, okay, by the business analyst, by Anuja and Kathy. Now, what is the responsibility over here to be performed by them is that they have to convert this technical specification into more detailed form. Okay, they have to create that what all things. See over here, let me just add in one more thing. Okay, that after that my user also want the inbox facility. Okay, and in inbox he wants that the user should be able to receive mails, so that the things become much more clear to you. Okay, he should be able to receive mails and send mails. Okay, in inbox he should be able to receive the mails, and there should also be a facility to send the mails. Now what Kavita and Samatha, they are going to do, they will create a high level design. Okay, because if this is the thing that Anuja and Kathy are going to give to Saujanya, that is my coder, then he or she will not be able to make it. He or she will not be able to code the things. So what she needs is that it should be in a simple format. Though it is in the technical specifications, but she needs some much more level designing should be there, okay, for her. So Kavita and Samatha, what they are going to do, they are going to convert this technical specification into a sort of high level design. Now what does high level design means is, they are going to tell, or they are going to write a document wherein they are going to specify that this specifications what is being given in the BRD, for completing these specifications, the coder has to create at least 3 modules, or he has to create at least 3 different functionalities. So the first functionality would be of login, the second functionality should be of inbox, and the third should be for the send mails. Okay, wherein they should also specify that what should be the layout of the page, where the username text box should be present, okay, and what should be what should be the height and the width of the letters that are written over there. Okay, then where should be the login button, where should be the help provided. Okay, then suppose say any user, if he or she has forgotten his password, then where should be the link, and if there is a link, then what should happen if the user clicks on that link, what questions should appear, or what all things should appear over there. Okay, so these all are the high level designing that needs to be done before the coding. Okay, so this phase is important before the coding phase. Okay, so over here what will happen, you are going to create the high level design. Okay, and you can also say that this is done by your project manager people. Okay, or in short you can say them as the PM, the project manager. Okay, and while creating this high level design and all, they are also going to consider that what should be the schedule. Okay, what should be the schedule of this whole coding and testing, or you can say in short, like whole software to be built and to be tested when it is to be released. Okay, then after that, what should be the budget. Okay, all those negotiations and all these all things are also done in this phase. Okay, and the document which is prepared over here is known as your project plan document. Okay. Kathy, it is not always that it would be only the functional specification. The non-functional specifications are also written over here. Okay. For other people who don't have the knowledge of functional and non-functional specifications, don't worry about it, because we would be dealing with all these things later on in our sessions. Okay. So not a problem. Now after this, the coding phase, it will come into the scene. Okay. Now over here, what is done? The coding phase, the programs are written, or you can also say the coding is done. Okay. And who will do that? Obviously your developers, you can say, or you can also say as them as the coders, anything that you want. And the document that is prepared over here, it is known as your source code in the technical terms. Okay. So that is the source code which is being prepared, or in simple terms you also call them as the programs. Now after this comes the testing phase. Now over here in the testing phase also, there are a lot many things which are being involved. See, before doing the testing, you have to create a plan for the testing. Okay. Then some documents are also prepared in testing, like your use case documents, which all we would be doing in our sessions. Okay. So that would be your use case documents, then writing down the test cases, then preparing the test data and all. Okay. So these all things are also included in testing. But for now, we'll take it as a whole. So what is done over here? That all thing we'll learn in the later sessions. That all I'll tell you. And who all are the people who are involved? So we testers would be. We testers are involved, and what all documents we are going to prepare? There are also a lot many documents, as I told you. A lot many documents will be prepared, and we'll study in detail about all these documents. Okay. And then after that comes the release phase. Okay. Now what is done in the release phase? You have to deploy the things. Okay. So basically it is nothing but the deployment. Okay. So what you are going to do in the deployment, whatever things you have prepared, or whatever software you have, your coders have coded and your testers have tested, then all the software, it is being first tested over there in your company. Okay. And if it is being approved, then it is released, or you can also say it is being deployed to the client section for usage. Okay. And we'll later study that while the softwares are deployed to the client, it is not like the software is made available for use to each and everyone. First it is for like you can say it is given to some 10 to 15 people at one go, so that it is first tested by the clients also, and once they have approved it, then they release it into the market to be used by the wholesome people. Okay. So who all are the people who would be involved in the release phase? It is actually a combined effort. Okay. So it depends upon your project managers whom they want to be present over there while the release is done. So basically that is a combined effort which is done. And once the release is done, so the document that you are going to prepare in the release is the manual documents are prepared. What are the manuals documents? Are nothing but the manuals that you give with the software, that is how to use the software, with which things it would be compatible, with which things it won't be compatible. Okay, so the user guide in simple terms, what you say. Okay, so the user guides that you provide are nothing but the documents that you have to prepare with the while releasing the software. Then after that, last is the maintenance phase, wherein you will have to give the maintenance of the software if your user come across any of the problems while using the software. Okay, if you have released the software to the client side, and when his persons are using the software, if they come across any or some of the other issues, then that would go in the maintenance phase. Or if suppose say after a period of time, um, the client comes up to you and he asks for some additional functionality, suppose say over here in Gmail only. Okay, taking this as an example. So now my client comes back to me and now he asks me that I should also include the functionalities as say the trash functionality should also be included over there. Okay, or some junk functionality should be included. Okay, so these all things can be done later on in the maintenance phase. Okay, so over here, that is the documents which are prepared would be done for the future use. So that again has to go through the whole process of the requirement and designing. So we won't consider these things over here. Okay, but for now, do you get a clear idea that what all things and what all are the phases and who all are the people who would be involved around here for making the software, and what all are the documents that you need to prepare? Yes, anyone, any question regarding this thing? Okay, so just let me repeat up with the things one more time. So what all are the things that we need to do in the software development life cycle? What all are the phases? Firstly, you'll have to collect all the requirements. Okay, and these requirements, these are nothing but the business requirements which are collected by the BA people, that is the business analyst people. Okay, now once the requirements are collected by the business analyst, then he document those requirements in a document which is known as the business requirement document. Clear? Once the business requirement document, it is being approved by the client that the requirement is proper enough, then it is being given for the high level designing to the project managers. Then over there, the project managers, they will create the project plan document. Okay, now in this project plan document, scheduling is also done. Okay, so it should also include your scheduling portion. Okay, and budget, that is also included in your project plan document. Then after that comes the coding phase, wherein your coders or the developers, you could say, are involved, wherein they would code the software or code the things, code the requirements which are given by the users. Once the coding is being done, and that document that is being prepared over here, it is in simple terms you call it as the programs, but in the technical terms you call it as the source code. Once the things are ready, it is being given for testing, wherein the testers would be involved. Now what they are going to do, what documents they are going to prepare, that we have to study in much more detail, and that would take up whole of the sessions which we have to deal with. Okay, so we'll discuss about all those things later on in the sessions. Then after that comes the release phase, wherein the things are, or wherein the softwares, they are being deployed to the clients. Now once you are deploying the software to the clients, it is not necessary that at one go they are going to release the same software to the market, to the end users. What they will firstly do, they will first use the software, or they will have a group of people in their team only who will be using their software for some time, so that if there are some issues which are not caught by you, they could be able to catch those issues before releasing the software to the end users. Okay. So once the software is being released to the client, it is being released with the help of the combined efforts of the team which is involved in making the software and testing the software. Then over there some user manuals are also released, the document which is which you are going to release to the client, that is called as your manuals, or the user manuals, or the user guides, whatever you want to say. Then comes the maintenance phase, wherein you will if there are some minor issues regarding the software, or if you have to do some upgradations or anything, then these things are being taken care until in your maintenance phase. Okay, so this is regarding the very simple thing that I have given you, or a very simple example of Gmail application. Now can you tell me, taking these steps only, okay, let us take online banking application, okay, wherein what all are the basic modules that you think online banking includes in itself, so that we can discuss these things in much more detail, or that should become much more clear to each and everyone. Okay, so in online banking, what should happen? What are the basic modules? Yes, Kathy?
It should be where they ask you for your user ID and your PIN.
Mm-hmm. Then what you are going to do, if you are, suppose say you are entering your valid user ID and PIN, then what should happen?
And then what should happen is after you use your user ID and PIN, then they're going to ask you for a password.
Sorry, then they are?
Once you're there, then you should see a screen with your account information.
Yes, exactly. So if you are entering with the valid ID and password, if you are able to log in properly into the online application, then you should be able to see your account summary, right? Or your account details should be visible to you. Okay, then, and if suppose say I now want to pay some bills. Okay.
There should be a link that you, allows you to click on the link. It should have Pay My Bills link, and you should be able to click on that link, and then it should take you to another page where you can pay your bills online. I've never paid my bills online, so I'm not sure, but
okay.
I think that's how it works.
What you, though you have not paid it, but this is what you think of if I say that you should be able to pay the bills online. Okay.
Yes.
This is what you can think of. Okay, sure. That's good enough.
Okay.
Okay. So, firstly, what should I expect from an online banking application? That it should able me to log in into the application if I am giving my valid ID and password. Okay. Then if suppose say there should be some that it should give me some authorities, or it should give me some usages, like I should be able to pay my bills online over there. Okay, then after that, if I want to do some, so that is one part that I want from my online application. Okay, that I should be able to pay my bills. Then after that, I also want that I should able to transfer some funds if I want to. Okay, and obviously I should be able to check the summary, my account summary. Okay, so my account summary should be visible to me and I should be able to check it. Okay, then if I have done all the things, then I should be able to log out successfully also. Okay, because I don't want that my application is visible to each like to some other person also. Okay, so logout is also a very important functionality that I should have to take care of. Now, do you think that when the user who wants this application to be built, he should, if he is not a technical person, he must have given all the things, or he must have given all his requirements to the client, sorry, to the software company in the manner we have prepared it? No. Okay, so once he has given the requirements, then the business analyst people must have converted it into the technical specifications. Okay, now once the technical specifications are being created, then a high level design would be created by your PM, or you can also say the architects, the project managers and the architects. Now over here, can you tell me that what all high level designs are required? Taking an example of transferring funds, because for pay bills, okay, let us discuss about both of them. For pay bills also, can you tell me that what should be the high level design for paying the bills? Or what you can just think of, if you think of this thing that you can pay the bills online. Anyone? Hello, yes, Kathy.
They would have to have the customer account. Say, for example, they would probably need, if they were paying their electric bill, they would probably need the account number.
No, which account number? But we are actually logged in, so we don't need any account number.
Okay.
Yes, because we are logged in into our account, so we don't need any account number over here. Yes, we would need the account number of the like if for the electric company we want to play, as we are saying.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then yeah. But before that also, don't you think that there should be some other things that should be present? You only have mentioned it earlier. Yes.
Oh boy, I forgot.
You told that there should be a link or there should be a button for
Yes.
pay bills.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what should happen over here is, see, I should get a link, or there should be a button, anything, okay, for paying the bills. Then after that, I should be able to give the account number on which I want to pay any of the bills, if there is so. Okay, then after that, while paying the bills, if suppose say I'm using my Visa card, okay, or some another sort of credit card, then I should be given the options for that so that I can select from that. Okay, any Visa or credit card options should be available so that I could select from what should be my mode of payment. Okay, I should be able to select that, and then I could pay my bills. Okay, and then I should be able to revert back to my account summary, because this should be the thing that should be present over there after the login has been done successfully. So this is what you expect, right? So if you are logging into the application successfully in the banking application, then you expect that the summary should be the first page that should be opened in front of you. Okay, so then after all these things are done, yes, one more thing. Once the bills are paid successfully, you also want a pop-up message. You want a reminder, or you want a message that your payment has been done successfully. Okay, so a pop-up message saying whether your payment is done successfully, or if in any of the cases it is not being done. Okay, so a message should be there for you so that you are intimated. Okay, and then once the messages are there, then you should be able to revert back to the account summary details. Okay, this is what we think our application should work like. Okay, so these all things are done by the project manager people in the planning and the designing phase. That if we want a proper functionality to work, okay, so in which manner it should work, after which page, what page should get open, okay, what message should be popped up, what it should ask for, or what all options should be there for the users to choose from. For example, over here, what should be your mode of paying the bills? So from what do you want to pay the bills? Similarly, in the case of transferring the funds also, okay, there should be either a link or a button should be present, okay, and that too should be working, whatever thing is present, okay. Then after that, I should able to write down the account number over there, and that too a valid account number. Okay, and if suppose say that account number is already there, I have done some previous payment onto that account number, so that account number should be saved over there with the name. Okay, so that if I just type the name, so that account number is visible to me. So those all things should be present. Then once you have given the account number, and when you click on the button of transferring the funds, so once the payment is done properly, it should give you a pop-up message. Okay, so pop-up message should be available, and then you should revert back to the account summary details. So these all are the things that you want to be done. Okay, and these all things are the high level designs which are being considered over here in the designing phase. One more very important step, and no one has paid attention to it. I forgot to say that if I'm writing the account number, don't you think that if I'm transferring the funds, a screen should be there, or a window should get open wherein it should ask me that how much funds do I want to transfer, or should they all transfer my whole account fund to them? Yes. So they shouldn't they ask me that how much how much fund should I transfer? Okay. So over here they should also ask me about the amount that needs to be transferred. Okay. So firstly they should ask me the account number in which we have to transfer, then the amount that I need to transfer, and then if the transfer is done properly, then it should give me a message whether it is done properly or not. Okay, and then revert me back to the account summary details, and then I should be able to log out of the application. Okay, so this is about the very simple, or you can say the software that you have looked upon. Okay, you have gone through, might be you must have gone through any of the online banking application ever in your life, and you must have used, or you must all have used the Gmail application, which we have previously used as an example over here. Okay, so this is why I gave you these examples, because you could relate it to them, because you have used them. Okay, so anyone has any question regarding this thing? Okay, before stepping on to the other things, I can see that there are some people who are new over here. Okay, Samantha, you have a question. Okay, sorry, I missed you. Let me just unmute you. Yes, Samantha?
Here I have a question on SDLC about the meetings held between the testers and the higher management team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you going to discuss them later classes or?
Yes. See, about the testing portion, I have not written anything about that, what all things are to be done and what all documents are we going to prepare. Okay, because there are a lot many things which we need to discuss. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I was saying that I can see there are some people who are new. Kathy, so can we just have a brief introduction about you?
Yes. Hi, this is Kathy. I am a QA tester. I've been out of testing for about 2 years, so I'm trying to get back into testing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Good. And John, are you there? Hello? Hello, John, are you there? Okay, I think he is not able to respond. We have one more new person. So hi, Doc.
Yeah, hi, my name is Dirk.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Good.
Can we have just a brief introduction about you?
Yeah, I'm in Georgia. I did QA, I did manual testing for a couple of years a long time ago, and I've been on different parts of the system development life cycle before. I did like doing testing, so I'm looking for a way to get back into it.
Okay, good. So there were like 2 or 3 new people in the batch today. See, this is our first batch only. Before that, before this session, we were taking the demo session only. We have took only the demo session. So this is the first batch, and you have not missed anything up till now. Okay. Okay. Can we hear it back from you? John? Hey, hi, John. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I am an MBA graduate. I am working in the sales and marketing field. Yeah, I believe I want to be a business analyst. I want to be trained so I can apply for a business analyst job.
Okay. So this is about the software development life cycle. That is a way in which a software needs to be developed ideally. Okay. So these all are the phases which it has to go through. Now, see, while going through these phases also, there are certain methods that needs to be taken care of. Okay. So it depends upon, you can say, from project to project and from company to company also, that what all methods they are using. So there are certain methods which can be used for developing for the software development, okay, which includes these phases also. But as I told you, there are certain limitations. Then you can say that from the client also, if he has a technical background, then he may also ask sometime that he wants his software to be developed in a particular model only. Okay, so over here we are going to study majorly two models of software testing, software development life cycle. Okay, so the first model would be the waterfall model, and the second would be the agile model. Okay, so now today we'll discuss like we have just 5 minutes left for the session to get over. So just let me tell you what this waterfall is about. Then we'll discuss in detail about it tomorrow in the next session. Okay, so as the name itself, it suggests that, what do you understand by waterfall? What is a waterfall? Yes, Kavita?
Like it's a proper document written and we have to follow those the document.
See, this is not a document, this is a model. Okay, and as I told you that all the phases would be covered in all the models. Okay, whether it is waterfall or whether it is agile. Okay, only the way of using the phases or the way of doing the things would be a bit different. Okay, see, when you see at a waterfall, or when I think of a waterfall, it is like, if you see at a waterfall, what is it is like? The water is coming in the downward direction. Have you ever seen a waterfall which is going in the upward direction, in which the water is going up? Has anyone of you ever seen such type of waterfall? No. Okay, so it is like after a phase is being completed, then only you can move to the next phase. As in a waterfall, you can say a simple waterfall, if you have seen, wherein the water, it cannot go back to a place which it has already passed, right? If the water is flowing from up to down, okay, and if after a period of time I want that this bucket of water, it should again go back to the top, can it happen? No, logically it cannot happen. If the water has passed a particular phase or it has passed a particular place, then it cannot go back to the same place. Similarly, over here in this type of model, if a particular phase is being taken care of, okay, if suppose say if the requirement phase is being completed, if the document in the requirement phase, that is the BRD, it is being written by the business analyst, and while doing the coding, the coders feel that this type of requirement which is being given by the client is not sensible enough. Okay, we are not able, or this type of requirement, it cannot be created in a software. So can we go back and change the requirements? No, in a waterfall model, it is logically not possible. This is why the name over here, the given name is like the waterfall. That once the things are written and once a phase is being completely passed, and while going down through the other phases, if you feel that there is something wrong in the previous phases, you cannot go up and change the things according to you. Okay. So this is what is meant by a waterfall. Suppose say I am in the planning phase, or I am designing, my architects are designing a high level design according to the requirements. Okay. And then they feel that this requirement is unnecessary. This requirement cannot be completed. So they can't go back and can change the requirements. Or while as I said, while coding, the coders feel that this requirement was not, that they are not able to complete this requirement. They won't be able to code this requirement. So they cannot go back and change that particular requirement. Instead what they can do is they have to again go back. If they want to go back, they have to again go back, again create the BRD, again create all the requirements. Okay, then again the planning needs to be done, and then only the coding could be done. They just can't go and change one particular thing and can start doing the things. Okay. So we'll study about this in detail tomorrow, or we are having the session, I guess, on Wednesday evening, right? So over there we'll study about the waterfall model and the agile also. Okay. So for now, just remember that like in a waterfall, if the water has passed a particular place, it cannot go back and can revert back to the things. Similarly, over here in this type of model, if you feel that any requirement or any plan or anything is not up to the mark, you cannot go back and change the things. Okay, so this is about your waterfall model. Okay, clear with this? Anyone, any question? Yes, Samantha. Hello.
I'm clear with the waterfall model, but I have a question regarding the course. Can I ask now, or I have to wait for some time?
Oh, you have a question regarding the course? Yes, yes, you can go ahead.
No, I'm clear with the waterfall. I'm asking about the course. I have some other question about the course.
Yes, you can go ahead and ask Samantha.
Okay. Okay. I just want to know how long it's going to take to complete the whole QA training.
It would take about 1.5 to 2 months.
Okay, because the person is saying about whenever I ask him, he's saying about 5 weeks. I'm just wondering, if you take 5 weeks, it means 15 hours. So it's going to complete in 15 hours, or it's going to take long time. I want to make sure.
No. See, initially we would be taking about 1 hour batch. Okay, and then after that we would be gradually moving or extending our batch to 2 hours, and also initially we are taking batches only thrice a week, right? But yes, but after like 2 or 3 weeks, we would be doing it on a daily basis, like on weekdays, all weekdays. That is 5 days a week.
That sounds good. Yeah, otherwise it's gonna take long. Yeah.
No. We are going to take care of all the things that we have completed, whatever is written in our syllabus. Okay, you must have gone through the Bhagya technology and this materials that we are going to provide. So we are going to make sure that we are providing all those things.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any question? Okay. Then it sounds good. Okay then, see you all in the next class. Have a good night. Thank you.